What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Invitation by Invictus. Today we have the fantastic Dr. Abbie Mork. Not that many people know that you're a doctor.
No, they don't. Don't.
They see you as part of the other face of the Women's Barbell Classic.
Yeah.
But nobody realizes that you are a doctor of chiropractic.
Yeah, it's honestly like I'm very humbled to be that, but I just don't identify myself. Like I identify myself as a chiropractor, but I don't feel the need to throw in people's faces that I'm a doctor or that I need to be looked upon differently because of that. I guess is the reason I don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're in your clinic, they do call you Dr. Abbie.
It's Dr. Abbie. It's Dr. Abbie. So that's me.
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about for those that don't know about Abbie or what she does or who she does, let's just kind of give the general Cliff Note version of where you kind of grew up, where you went to school, and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so I grew up in small town Adel, Iowa, so really close to Des Moines. Then I went to the University of Iowa, and then I went to Palmer College of Chiropractic, and then I came back here, worked in another clinic for a very brief time before I started working with Dr. Nathan Price at Price Performance Chiropractic. And I'm an independent contractor inside of that practice, and so I really do have my own business,
right,
which most people don't know. They think I'm an employee, so it's very different.
Right. Or Nate's your business partner.
Yeah, they think that. And Nate and I are very good friends.
Yeah.
Like, my dog goes missing, I called his family.
Yeah.
you know? And he's like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. Abbie might need to take a week off. So, we have a really good relationship for sure.
You're in your 8th year with Nate?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're probably in February, I think it will be 9.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been there a long time, and I tell them that every year because I look back on the first date of like my first patient. It's October. Yeah. In October. So it's been it's amazing how fast it's gone. I love working there. People always say, would you ever start your own practice? I'm like, well, I have my own practice. So like there's no incentive to leave there. And I enjoy working with him. I enjoy working with people. And he's at no point ever tried to control how I want to practice because truthfully, we practice quite differently.
Yeah, you have 2 spectrums going on.
Yeah. And that's perfect because that's what I like about chiropractic is that it has given me the opportunity to practice in a way that works for me.
Right.
So I love it.
So for those that don't know how you practice, kind of tell us how you practice. Like, because you call yourself the voodoo doctor.
A little bit of a voodoo doctor.
Yeah.
Well, and I've really set myself up in that I've told people before, like I have a hard time telling people I'm a chiropractor because a lot of people have preconceived notions of a chiropractor, sometimes good, sometimes bad, and a lot of bad. And I hear you hear about the bad, I feel like more than you ever hear sometimes about the good. And it's really nice. I've had a few people actually tell me like, oh, I love my chiropractor. Like they've saved my life. They've done this. And so it's great to hear that. But I feel like you always heard the bad ones. And when I was younger in practice, I would kind of I wouldn't stand up as I should have, I guess is probably the best way to put it. But I kind of take the traditional chiropractic model and I do my own thing. I don't believe in these massive, long drawn out care plans when you just met somebody and you don't know them. And, to be seeing somebody 3 times a week for a month or 2 months, like that person better be in some debilitating pain. So what I have come to notice is what sets me apart is not only do I treat each patient differently and I have multiple ways to treat them because I do chiropractic, I do acupuncture, I do cupping, I do Gua Sha. I understand how the body's designed to move. I do a lot of strength training. So educating people on how you should move, like what's our posture, things like that play into it a lot. And I was looking at it and it's almost every female chiropractor in this town has gravitated towards being a pediatric practice or pregnancy, which is totally fine and great. And I love working with kids and I love stuff, but I love working even more with the active population or people who want to get active and people want to move well, move more, and
move better.
Like it's crazy how as a society, we don't know how to move at all. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I can at least look at you and tell you, why you're this way. And, people are like, how did I get here? I've been working out and I'm healthy. And I'm like, well, look at your posture in the waiting room. I mean, it's terrible. Like you can't even sit up.
She tells me that all the time, so don't feel so bad when she yells at you. Roll your shoulders back.
Yeah, like down and back. I mean, our culture, our lifestyle has pushed us into a way. You're seeing it in kids, but adults are getting that way too. And through injury, is a big one. We all get injured at some point. We do something. So it's like, well, if it hurts to move this shoulder, well, then I'm going to move it differently. I'm going to hold it differently. And then if that lasts long enough, you adapt a new motor pattern.
Yeah, compensation.
Yeah, absolutely. So if no one realizes that even happened, and truthfully, what it comes down to is most people, if they don't know something, they just don't know how to do it. And they don't know how to do it. So if I tell somebody, give me good posture, they look at me and they're like, and they kind of do a head jut out. They throw their shoulders forward. They do like a lumbar extension. And I was like, well, I didn't ask you to throw yourself into extension. Yeah. So like you say, here's a mirror, and you show them, and they're like, oh, and they're like double chin, like tucking their chins. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to do this. I'm like, just up.
That's the deadlift motion.
Yeah.
In case you guys don't know, tuck your chin in to deadlift.
Yeah. So it's just amazing how I feel like I'm one of the few chiropractors that are actually talking about this. And then on top of it, I'm a female.
Yeah.
So people feel comfortable with the female. People respect me because I practice what I preach. I'm in there doing it. I'm educated. And one of the things so many people hate is they're like, well, I'm not interested in going to another person to tell me that I can't do what I love to do.
Right.
So I say, well, I'm not going to tell you you can't do it, but I'm going to say, can we modify?
Work on it.
Could we work, could we modify? Can we work on it? And maybe can we do something to stay away from it for now?
Yeah.
Can we pick a different, if you're having a terrible knee issue, maybe we should do some bench pressing for a while. Or if you have a really bad shoulder issue, it's great because at our gym we have the safety squat bar. So you could bench all day long and not blow your shoulder out and have any problems. So you can still work around it. And just doing that, I think, is people want more of that approach than you can't do it. Because
let's get you better.
Yeah. I'm like, why not get you better? And when people come and tell me well, my doctor told me I should never squat again. And I was like, well, why? And they're like, well, if you can't do it right, then I agree. You shouldn't be squatting. But I mean, it's functionally extremely important for your hip health and for strength as you live today and as you age.
Correct.
So,
yeah. So for those that don't know, let's kind of talk about the services you offer, because people are like, Gua Sha, Gua what? What is Gua Sha? What are the benefits of it? What are the benefits? Everybody knows what acupuncture is. I stick a bunch of needles in you, but let's kind of correct the big misconception. Okay. And then cupping. Cupping made a surprise comeback when Michael Phelps had all those, he looked like a freaking octopus that just latched onto him, and people are like, ooh, but all that stuff has been around for centuries.
Yes, thousands of years. So Gua Sha is the OG, I tell people, because some people have started to learn about Graston, which has been around, I'm not sure how many years. I actually tried to look up the exact inception date of Graston.
Graston technique has been around for, it's probably 20, 30 years.
I was going to say, I thought it was 20 to 30 years, but I could never find a specific date when I looked however long ago. And then A-Stim is becoming popular. And so I say, well, Gua Sha is basically the OG. Yeah. So what are the purposes of it? You're trying to increase blood flow, which is super important. And if you're going into the Chinese culture, I say the Chinese culture is a little bit different than Western, which is what we are. Chinese culture, I've had Chinese people come in and say, my grandma used to do this to me when I was a little kid. Yeah. She would say, lay down, and she would just go to town on me and beat me up when I was sick. So theirs is very much a wellness practice because you're opening up the meridians in the body, you're increasing blood flow, you're increasing lymphatic flow, you're increasing all the meridians and the flows through the body so that you can be healthier. Yeah. So that is what Gua Sha does a really good job of increasing blood flow. So if a muscle is very lacking of blood flow, it's more likely to be injured, it's more likely to be sore, it's more likely to be hypertonic and rigid.
Fatigued.
Yeah. So it's hard if you're going into, I see a lot of athletes or just people who are super tight in general. And if you're not doing anything to push the crap out of the muscle and bring good blood flow in, it's really hard to make yourself better. Yeah. And then I tell people too, a perfect example is in your traps. So everybody can feel their traps and how tight they get. Mm-hmm. Well, so you'll feel the tension here, but then people don't realize the attachment sites for the trap, because it's a big muscle, it goes up into your neck, it goes into here, and it goes down. when a muscle gets tight, it's gonna kind of go like this, and then it's gonna pull, and it's gonna pull on its attachment sites.
Yes.
So it's gonna pull in your shoulder, it's gonna pull in your neck, it's gonna pull here. So more people complain of these increased neck pain. So if you can take the muscle and help lengthen and elongate that as well, it helps stop pulling on the attachment sites, which is super huge and important. So that's why when somebody comes in for Gua Sha, they're like, I instantly feel better. And I was like, it's similar to massage work. Absolutely. I call it the quick and dirty. You're in, I have a specific area you want to work on. We're going to break it down and you're going to get out of here. Yeah. And the great thing is it's an accumulation effect. So I'll have you come in consistently, like 3 or 4 treatments, boom, 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 boom. And it yields just spectacular results. Yeah. Like you tie that in with getting adjusted and people are like, wow, I can't believe how much better I feel in just a matter of 4 visits.
Yeah.
When I was going to my other chiropractor for I don't know how long, and you know, I'd feel better and then I just come right back and I was like, oh yeah, because the only thing that they taught you was when you hurt to come in here.
Yes.
They haven't talked to you about your posture. They haven't talked about your position. They haven't talked about how you sit at your desk. They haven't talked about how you're strength training and like how can you actually do something to take care of your muscles.
Right. So the myofascial release of the Gua Sha actually holds your adjustments better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I usually see people less.
Yeah.
And they appreciate that.
Right.
Truthfully.
I actually get it done. I came in here not too long ago looking like a barracuda had attacked me.
Looks terrible.
Yeah. It definitely, I think I still have some remnants of it.
Very few.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you first start out, it's called petechia. It's not a bruise. It's not like your normal bruising pattern. Now, some people do bruise. If you're like me, you're pasty white and you bruise easily. Like it can show up. But it's called petechia where the blood vessel breaks. So most people know that as like what a Hickey marking is. And it will show up if you've never had it done. For most people, if you're really tight and the muscles in your body has some crap in it, it'll show up very, very quickly. And it's amazing how after just 3 or 4 visits, it will show up. It will take longer for it to show up. It won't show up as quickly.
Yes.
And then for you, what used to last 4 or 5 days will now last a day or so.
Right, correct.
You know, and it goes away quickly. And that's a sign of healing.
Yeah.
That's the body healing. I have people that come in and I barely touch them and they light up like a Christmas tree, I say. And then they come back later for their 4th visit and they don't react near as much. And I work probably 3 times as hard on them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm amazed at how quickly that's going away.
Yeah.
I was like, you're getting better.
Yeah. Okay. Acupuncture, quickly. What acupuncture is, I'm not going to stick a bunch of needles in you and you're not going to look like, Justin, what's that scary Halloween movie? Pinhead? Hellraiser. You're not going to look like Hellraiser.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a certified chiropractic acupuncturist. So if you've got some crazy stuff like stroke on one side, I will send you to William Terrell, who I go see. But like if you're looking like back pain, neck pain, acupuncture is focused on these different meridians that travel through your body. And when there's stagnation inside those meridians, that's when you can get disease, dysfunction, pain, and all these things can occur.
Your chi.
Your chi is not good.
Yeah.
And we need good chi. Like everybody needs to have good chi.
Your chi is basically trapped. And then the acupuncture releases that trapped whatever you got going on.
And sometimes you have too much stuff going on. So we've got to bring you down. So we got to bring you down. So some are too high, some are too low. And people are like, well, what's acupuncture for? I was like, you can literally use acupuncture for everything.
Yeah.
Like for everything. I have seen people who've struggled with fertility. I have seen IBS. Like that mind blows people. Migraines. Back pain, neck pain, shoulder tendinitises, stress, anxiety is a big one.
This just helps calm your mind.
Yeah, it does so much. And what's crazy is so many people come in there and I was like, all right, when you have the needles in, you just need to relax. You need to try and go to sleep. You can meditate. You can do whatever you want. And some women, I will come in and they're like staring straight up at the ceiling. I'm like, you were supposed to check out. And they're like, I just can't. And I was like, this is something you need to work on.
Yeah.
And that was part of actually going to acupuncture for me at the beginning was I couldn't check out. And it became my time where I was running too high, doing too many things. And that was my time where I went and I was like, no one's going to find me for at least an hour. Like, and that's just how it was. And it is like my thing. It is my time. It is my me time. I go in there, I focus on myself. And when I'm laying there, I'm like, okay, things start creeping in my mind. Okay, I need to flush those out.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So good overall health.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of my wellness routine.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cupping.
again, has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Michael Phelps just had it on, and so everybody thought this thing resurged and it was new. And it's very similar to the premise of Gua Sha. It is pretty much exactly the same concept. Instead of kneading and pushing like traditional massage, it's more of a pulling mechanism. Right. And so I find that people who've never had that a lot of times respond really well to it because they've never had that pulling motion. So some people will get heavy detoxification from that more than they ever will. They'll get a lot of soreness. So with Gua Sha, I work on the area and then I'm done. With cupping, I glide through the whole area and then I take the cups and I fix them for about 10 minutes. And then I leave the room and you do the kind of relax, meditate, fall asleep, do whatever you want.
When you say fixed, you mean you leave them on?
Yes. So I pull as much pressure out of them out as I can. And it can be intense at first. And then it gets better. And I tell people in a couple minutes, it will die down and you'll be fine. And I come back in and they're like, you were so right. And a lot of times people start getting to a very euphoric place by the end of it. They will feel very chill, very calm, very relaxed. And so people are like, well, which is better? I'm like, nothing's better. I do find that like for people, if I touch their back and they're very hypertonic, stating like your back is very tight and tense and you don't adjust well, if I can cup and put that all the way down your back, when I pull those off and I go to adjust you, like there is actually like a pliability and you move. So I tell people like your skin, your fascia, your fat, your muscles, they should all like glide and move, but we're really good at sticking them together like Velcro. Cupping does an amazing job of tearing everything apart, not tearing, pulling them apart in a good way that does feel good for most people. So that your body's actually moving freely.
Okay.
And not filled with a bunch of crap. Stuck together.
So if I'm needing chiropractic services or your voodoo services, what's the best way to get in touch with you for that?
You can call the office. It's 515-277-2377. But if you're a computer person or prefer that style of just, shooting a message over, if you go to our website, priceperformancechiro.com, you can click a button right out the gate that says just request an appointment. It shoots us an email. And our office manager, Molly, will get back to you usually like right away. So if we're not, we answer those mostly during working office hours or when we're coming in and out. So we will just email you back. And if we can't get a hold of you by email, we'll text, we'll call you, stuff like that. So
Monday through Friday.
Sometimes I'm in on Saturday by appointment. But yeah, I'm there a lot.
And you take insurance.
I do take insurance. We take pretty much every single one. The only one I'm not in network would be your Blue Cross, Blue Shield HMOs. And that's a them, not a me thing. So I can't do anything about that one. Sorry.
Okay. And then not only do you do Dr. Abbie, but you are the president of the Raise the Bar Initiative.
That is correct.
Also formerly known as the Women's Barbell Classic.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see the podcast with her counterpart, Annie Breeze.
Fabulous.
I met these ladies last February at the circus. While we were...
February.
No, it was
we did our event last April.
February of 2019 is when I first met you. Yeah. It's not been that long ago. I met them.
The world's changing.
We were there to film the circus and they were there competing, which come to find out, Abbie hated it. Well, she didn't hate it. She's never been in a CrossFit competition.
I didn't hate it at all. Like I enjoyed the process of it. My body hated it.
We physically have video that we've never released of Abbie just slowly dying.
Anytime they tell you just put as whatever weight you want on the bar and front squat for 2 straight minutes after you'd already done the 2 other events prior and you blew your legs out, like
we'll probably actually just play it. So
yeah, it's super funny. But I was an athlete growing up, and so I'm not gonna. I am damned if I'm gonna be the weakest link, and that's what I felt as I was gonna be the weakest link because Megan's a phenomenal CrossFit. She's done many CrossFit events, and she's strong. And Annie's just like
super athlete.
She's strong. She's a great athlete too. Yeah. And I had trained for 2 weeks going into that, and I was stressed out to the max. Like it was bad. I was super stressed just with, we'd lost our office manager. So I was putting in 70 to 80 hours a week at the office, trying to keep the glue together for us. And then on top of that, I had to host a powerlifting meet for 22nd Street Barbell. Right. And then on top of it's winter, your skin's like dry and pissed off anyways. And I get a stress rash. And now we got to do an event. And I had so much fun doing it. Would I do it again? We've talked about this before. I would consider it, but a lot of the recent ones I've seen, the events are just like so far out of my reach.
Yeah, they're pretty brutal.
They're pretty brutal with, you know, like during that event, we focused on working around me. Like Abbie doesn't do cleans. Okay, well, we have to cycle clean. So we'll just put Abbie on an assault bike for 11 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Bad idea. Good plan, poor execution.
Yeah, I'd never ridden one for that long, so I did not know how to handle that for that long. So I tried to, you know, push, but then I was like, dude, I'm going to die. Like, how am I going to do this? So I just didn't know how to do it. And we did great. We did phenomenal.
Yeah, you guys
we had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
A ton of fun.
So I met them when we in between filming, and I looked up what the Women's Barbell Classic was, because that was the name of it. I read their mission statement, and I went up to them and I was like, hey, we're a brand new video production company, and I can help you out on telling your story. And they were kind of like, who the fuck are you and what are you talking about? And I was like, listen, I can do this. I was like, I used to work at a little company called Nike in Men's Health, so you have to trust me. And that was a lot for them, because they were like, no, fuck you, we ain't doing shit.
I don't remember that conversation.
It was kind of like that at first, and then I didn't think they thought I was serious. So we met up for dinner. It was myself and the 3 ladies and my employee at the time, and we talked about it, and I was like, this is what we can do. And it just kind of evolved from there. And I like to tell people that the Women's Barbell Classic and the Justice League of Food catapulted our nonprofit partnership that we started inside of Invictus, because we saw the need that these nonprofits needed help on, which was telling their story.
Yeah. I mean, we are not like other, like I've learned, if you would have asked me at any point in my life if I was going to be in this position with a nonprofit, I would have said, you're crazy. I don't have time for that, nor would I do anything, and I don't know what I would create. So it was very much by a surprise, and we've met so many different people, and a lot of people have started out of endowments. Like, they have an obscene amount of money sitting in a bank. We had nothing.
Yeah.
And we've had to build everything we have just by working and working and working our asses off. So, you know, there's no like daddy warbox sitting around for us saying, hey, you guys need to help grow. And we're not going to take out a loan.
No.
I mean, we're not going to do any of those things. So we're like, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And we know it's important. Our community clearly sees it's important.
Yeah.
They have backed us phenomenally. And we have grown very well, very quickly, to the point that, like, I mean, if we had the ability to, it could be a full-time job for one of us easily.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, the thing is we all have daytime jobs that we love. Be different if, like, Annie and I were like, well, I don't have a job, or I don't have a 9-to-5 that I could commit to this. But I mean, even as a nonprofit where we're at, when we're in full steam, I tell people 5 to 10 hours a week, easily. And that's during when, like, we're not getting ready to host an event. Yeah. It's just a lot of time and energy. But like one of our board members, I was talking to her yesterday, and she was saying how she was talking to somebody, you know, like she's an attorney at her firm, and, you know, give these fun facts about yourself. She said powerlifter, and she's like, these women came out and they're like, I powerlift too. And she's like, oh my God. And so she's like, next thing I was just telling them about Raise the Bar and what we do. And she goes, I get so excited, because she's like, what we do is so important. So it's been hard during the pandemic to kind of just sit here and like let it sit. And people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm riding the storm. Like, we got to get through this. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, we'll be back for sure. Yeah. You know, I think we're getting ready to try and do that a little bit, kind of get back into the community. But like, when it's right, like, we've always just like, we're going to do it right.
So for those that get confused, you started off as a Women's Barbell Classic. Yeah. Now you're Raise the Bar Initiative. Yeah. Why the shift?
So Women's Barbell Classic, when we started, you know, we became a nonprofit because it's what made the most sense. And we were an event. Mm-hmm. We were the Women's Barbell Classic event. We nailed it. We knew exactly what we were doing. And then one of the roles that I play a lot is sitting down and filing grants and talking with other companies and organizations. And it gets confusing. Well, are you an event or an organization? Yeah. Because which one is it? Like, I don't understand. Right. And then we had started to become so much more than just the event. We started to create our own other little events. And then we created the Barbell Club. Right. You know, so it's like, well, what are you? So we needed this, what are we doing? And we always kind of had this tagline that had been created that came up was raising the bar for women in our community. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the rebranding was hard, really hard. We thought we would kill it, because when we did the Women's Barbell Classic the first time, Annie and I did it, I literally sat at our kitchen table. We had to come up with a meet name. And I was like, okay, And it honestly came together super quickly because I was like, well, here's how you kind of name a meet and here's what we do. And it was so like timeless. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And then when we created it, we knew exactly what we wanted for a logo. We wanted the Des Moines into it. And then, we started making logos and I'm like, that looks like an electrical company. That looks like a logo we already have.
Yeah.
That looks like the Black Power logo. Like it started morphing into other things. And then we were like, classic simple. Like bring it back, and we started because at first we thought, no way. We wanted it to be visually recognizable from a distance. And we were like, no, because our other logo is so perfect. Don't try and recreate
the women's barbell classic.
Like just let it be its own
The
thing.
Rebranding of Raise the Bar was just...
Yeah, it was hard. We went back and forth a lot. We had a lot of disagreement, and then we would agree. And I've come to learn it's just a lot of, sometimes compromising and hearing people's stories out, which is it's like hard to do because you like are so passionate about something, but then you look at the other side. And my friend Dana helped us with it, and she would have conversations with me about how she's like, great examples, the Des Moines partnership, and they have a super simple logo, and then they have all these events where the events become elaborate logos.
Correct.
And I was like, perfect. Like it's like I needed to hear that, know? So it was tough, but I'm super proud of it. Obviously. I wear it around all the time.
Yes, she does. I can verify. For those that don't know, Abbie Mork is my girlfriend, so I have to I get a lot of the inside scoop behind all of this.
Yes,
so
you do.
I had to live through that with her.
Yes.
Because she would ask me and I would be like, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to get my head ripped off. There's a reason why I've just learned you go and let somebody else do that kind of work, and then I'll just stick to my video stuff. So it was just like,
separate though.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah, it's good that you had Dana kind of telling you that in the background, so that there is that good understanding from a true graphic designer standpoint.
Absolutely.
So Raise the Bar, where are we looking for 2021?
A lot of people are asking, when's the next event? And I was like, the world's got to change back a little harder. Like we gotta turn back the other direction.
Get back to normal.
Yeah, because the thing that's so great about our event is the energy and the excitement and the unapologetic excitement. And you can't do that right now. People want to give high fives and people want to give hugs and people want to do that stuff. And in the current way the climate is, some people feel comfortable doing that and some people do not feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
and
it's two spectrums.
Absolutely.
There's no gray right now.
Yeah. And, I kind of find that a lot of people are starting to spend time with these pods of people that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So, and, one of the things that I love about the Women's Barbell Classic is that people meet new people that day. They create genuinely new good friendships. They encourage each other. They're high-fiving each other, doing all this stuff. And if the way things currently are, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I agree.
It just doesn't I feel like I'd be forcing something, and I'd be damned if I'm going to plan another event to then turn around and shut it down, because that was
soul crushing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't cry very much. That thing made me cry. I was pulling with my high school girlfriends, and I told them it was going to be a tough day. Like, this is what we were doing. And I just started crying, and I was like, okay, this is like, it's, I think when we talked about it and we knew it's what we had to do, but I think everybody at the beginning was kind of in denial that this was actually going to have an impact on you. Mm-hmm. Like, it was impacting everybody else, but how was it going to impact you?
Right. Internally and physically and
So we tried to push forth so hard because we were right in that end of April, and that's when things just got real bad real quick. Had we had been a few weeks sooner, we might have been able to pull it off. Yeah. But I don't even know.
Yeah, we talked about one of the last events that we did was WOCO. Yeah. And that literally you and we went on vacation and we came back and the world just stopped.
Yeah, I mean, we came back from Arizona. I think about that. I was like, we were on the plane. I didn't see one person in a mask.
Nope.
There was a ton of elderly flying at the time. I mean, crazy.
Our flight was packed.
Yeah, because everybody's flying back. They're getting, the snowbirds were coming back. And we landed, and then all of a sudden, I was there, and then everybody else in my office was getting ready to leave. We got back, and they literally left later that week. And then I was like, you guys need to get back.
Yeah, a week later.
The borders are shutting.
Yeah, a week later, everything shut down.
Yeah, and it was just, the world was never the same at that point. You know, it was just mind blowing.
Yeah. 2 months. It was just a complete shutdown.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I'm a new lifter and I want to maybe look at doing the Women's Barbell Classic, how can I get to that? What's the best way to get in touch with you or Annie Breeze?
Yeah, we have it on our website. You can go find us. You can find contact information. You can easily email one of us. It's on there. You can do the contact information. You can find us personally on Facebook or Instagram. You can also find Raise the Bar Initiative website. You can find Raise the Bar Initiatives. I would really follow us on Instagram. Annie does a lot of our work on there. We've been kind of stagnant recently. But that was where we will put every update. If something's going live, you're going to have to know about it on there. So we try to create excitement. So a lot of times when things are coming down the pipe, we keep pretty quiet about it, and then it drops on social media. So then the buzz kind of creates there. So if you want to know, you got to follow there. And Annie does a great job of that. So I would get on social media and follow us because that's where all the answers are. But if you want to talk to one of us personally, like email, great. Personal message, social media, we're super responsive. I check that stuff too. I don't do a ton with it, but I'm always watching it.
Yes.
Always keep my eye on it. So
yes. All right. So 2021 still up in the air.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah, we were supposed to go into Roosevelt in the fall as well, on top of East. Roosevelt was so excited to have us. And, you know, our stance is if you don't feel that your kids are safe to be in school, then it's not safe for us to be coming inside of your school.
Yeah.
To be working with these kids. So we're kind of on hold there. And I don't know. So, for myself personally, and maybe this is a problem that I have, I do not like to create what if scenarios when I could spend hours creating what if scenarios.
Yeah.
And if this lays out, if this was my full-time job and I was getting paid for it, maybe that's a little bit different. But honestly, when the world opens up, we will move quickly because that's the only thing that I know how to do. So the goal will be...
I can tell you that for sure. Because I'll get emails I'll get texts. Hey, this is Annie Reese. Annie does all the dirty work. Hi, friend. What are you doing? I'm at work. And then my next response is usually... What do you guys need? Nah, we're not that bad. Yeah, you guys are.
But I mean, when it's time to go, we'll start going. I think the fall, I think around when it turns 2021 will be very telling.
Yes.
The world, like I said this last week, I feel like things are changing. The conversations are changing. There's, you don't hear about, a bunch of outbreaks in where people are working.
Yeah.
The schools seem to be doing pretty well, which is a great thing. It's positive. It's positivity. And that's one of the things I've really struggled through all of this is I feel like you can just never hear a positive story ever.
Correct.
Never. I hear positive stories all the time of people coming in saying, yep, I had it, or so-and-so had it. All I had was a mild headache and I'm doing great.
Or they didn't even know they had it.
Yeah. And so I tell people, just focus on you, do what you need to do, just focus on your health.
Yeah.
God, the billboards that are coming up right now, it's got the measles and the mumps and all these things. And what does it say? And it's how they're coming back. And
they're coming back.
And the only thing it talks about, to protect yourself, to keep you healthy is to take a vaccine. I'm like, okay, but what else can we be doing to keep ourselves healthy? No one talks about that. It's mind blowing to me. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about how are you staying active? So many people are not leaving their homes. People are not eating well. People are stressed out of their damn minds. Their cortisol levels are through the roof. And you want to talk about a breeding ground for disease, you're sitting right there.
Yeah.
So I like us just talking about just do what you can do to make yourself overall healthier.
Right.
And that's the best thing that all of us can do to get through not only surviving COVID, but surviving the flu, surviving pneumonia, strep throat.
The winter. Winter is coming.
All of it. All of it.
Okay. So again, what's the best way to get in touch with you to make an appointment at Price Performance?
Give us a call at 277-2377 or go to pricechiro.com and you can just request an appointment, or you can inquire and say, hey, I've got some questions.
Okay.
Sometimes people are like, hey, do you take my insurance? You can send it. Some people want to know if they have an insurance, if we take their insurance, and sometimes we do, but your benefit sucks. So we'll check in on your benefit and be like, well, it'd be cheaper. You have a $70 copay.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost that much to get adjusted.
And then if I'm interested in volunteering or being a part of the Raise the Bar initiative, how do I contact you guys?
RaiseTheBarInitiative.com. Actually, on our website, we do have a volunteer page where you can go on there and say, hey, I want to be a volunteer. Here's kind of what I'm looking for. Here's my time slots. We need a ton of volunteers when it comes to hosting the actual Women's Barbell Classic event itself. We have at least like 60.
Okay.
And then as we keep branching into more schools, we will need people to come with us so that we need people working with girls. So I'd actually just brought on like a handful of people, and we'd done some background checks on people, and we're getting ready to go, and then it just kind of halted. So, I mean, when we come back, I'm going to have to catch back up with all that too.
And if you're interested in volunteering for the Barbell Club, Abbie is the person that vets you.
I will vet you.
Yes.
I need to make sure you're a nice person.
Yeah.
Not even that, but that you're comfortable, going into a classroom full of girls that are very uncomfortable, and going up and talking to that girl. And is your heart in a good place? Because this isn't about you.
It's about them.
It's about them. You're going to feel amazing leaving there for sure, which I think is a great thing. Like, some people are like, I don't want volunteers doing this selfishly. I'm like, you know what? One of the best things in the world, if somebody's whatever is going on, when you go volunteer and you work with these kids, you will feel very fortunate for the life that you have. These are great kids, and it's just tough to grow up in our world today. Like, I couldn't imagine growing up today in high school with social media. And
I think a lot of adults say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only social media, but like the key, it's not like, the adults, it's like the keeping up with the Joneses, but for the kids, it's like not necessarily as much them, because college is a little bit different, but there is an expectation of getting great grades and doing all these things. And they're human people. Like, just let it go.
All right. Well, so price performance, raise the bar. It's pretty much, or you can always find her at 22nd Street coaching classes, but that's for a totally different podcast.
Yeah. I could be there I could talk about 22nd Street all
day long too.
Yeah,
we can talk about that. So check out Price Performance Chiropractic or Raise the Bar Initiative from all of the cool links that we've put in here. And then if you're interested, you can always, I know this, you can always follow Abbie on Instagram at Abbie Mork.
Yep.
Right?
I think it's Abbie.Mork.
Abbie.Mork.
Let me take my own name.
Yep. So Abbie.Mork. So you can always follow her. You can follow Tank the Bulldog, Esme. Our little Guido Bucks cafe that we have with our espresso machine.
That is true. All true comments. So,
well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank
Even
you.
though we live together, you have to come on. I like to tell people Abbie's my silent business partner. So
I help guide decisions, but she helps me too. So
yeah,
it's good.
My staff knows that she's the one that wears the pants and everything. So my life is controlled by my girlfriend when I say that. Yep, that's her and our dogs. So.
True.
So so maybe we'll bring you back on and we can talk more about 22nd Street, and then hopefully Raise the Bar or the Women's Barbell Classic.
Yeah.
Or the Barbell Club has a little bit more direction.
Yeah, I hope so too. Hopefully sooner than later.
Yes. So thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time. And
thank you.